Good morning, everybody. This is episode 66, and welcome to you wherever you may be watching around Australia. From Sydney to Brisbane, the ACT, Tasmania, Western Australia, the Northern Territory, Darwin, Cairns to Cape York, to the Mornington Peninsula, Shepparton, Swan Hill, Bendigo, Ballarat, and Exmouth to Coronara. And we bring the shows to you every Tuesday morning here in Ives Cab. Welcome to you wherever you may be watching. Hello, my name is Barry Fair, and thanks for joining me here in my Opsider. And the time is 10 o'clock here, Tuesday morning, the 29th of September. And my word, excuse me, and my word, how September has flown, and we're nearly into October now. Well, today on the show, we're going to be talking about how important it is to be prepared for a staff meeting, whether you work at accommodation or a day option service. But before we get on to today's show, a recap from episode 63. Now, from last week, where I talked about a delicious caramel slice, food poisoning, and summer shoes. And first up, food poisoning. Food poisoning can be very serious. If you eat something that is off, throw it out. And here now, with this opening sequence on food poisoning. Good morning, Oscar. Thanks for joining me this week.
Good morning, Barry. Thank you for having me.
Well, food poisoning is very serious. Here's my Opsider for his opening sequence on this.
Food poisoning can be very minor to very serious if you haven't cooked the proper meat correctly.
Okay, and always use different chopping boards for chopping up food or preparing food, and always have clean hands. Here's my Opsider.
Barry makes a very good point. Always use different chopping boards for different foods and veg, because if you mix that can cause food poisoning.
And salmonella poisoning as well. And you don't want to end up in the hospital. Here's my Opsider.
As Barry said, it's a very good point. You can get salmonella poisoning, especially from chicken. So you have to be very careful when preparing and cooking those sort of foods.
And always check the date, ladies and gentlemen, on your milk and things like that. Here's my Opsider.
As Barry said, it's a very good point. Always check the dates on the end date for food and food labels and those sort of things. Also, with takeaway or overcooked dinner, usually best to throw them out after 2 to 3 days.
And if in doubt, throw it out. Here's my Opsider.
As Barry said, if in doubt, just throw it out.
Because food poisoning, you don't want to be in the men's or ladies' rooms. Here's my Opsider.
As Barry says, if you don't throw these things out and attempt to eat them, you could be ending up in the men's or ladies' rooms feeling very upset.
Or very sick. And that is a recap of last week's show. Coming up, here's segment 1 on the show. welcome everyone to segment 1 of the show, and it's about how to prepare for a staff meeting, whether you are at a day option service or accommodation service. The important thing, guys, is always have an agenda item ready to discuss at the staff meeting. Here's my outsider for his opening sequence on this. Good morning, Oscar. Thanks for joining me this week.
Good morning, Barry. Thank you for having me. As you mentioned before, if you ever have any sort of meeting, it's always good to have prepared an agenda about what you're going to discuss with everyone.
And always read the previous minutes. Here's my outsider.
That's right, Barry. Some things in the previous meeting do get brought up again, so it's always good to be on top of everything and what they've discussed last time.
And always be on time for your meetings too. Here's my outsider.
Yes, as Barry was saying, it's extremely important to be on time for meetings, to be prompt, as it shows a lack of, it shows that you're interested and you're willing to participate in everything that's involved.
And always time the agenda item, whether it's 1 minute, 2 minutes or 3 minutes. But don't go on for 15 minutes and not allow someone else to, or anyone else to talk about their agenda items. Here's my outsider.
Yes, as Barry was saying, it's very important to cap certain topics because others can take longer than others.
And time the agenda items. Don't have your say in more than 2 or 3 minutes. Here's my outsider.
Yes, it's very important to do that as well, to have everything documented in the meetings.
And bring your notebook as well, so you can write the agenda item down. Here's my outsider.
Yes, always bring a pen and paper to write things down, and also you can write your own personal notes if you'd like to contribute to the meeting.
And stick to the subject as well. Here's my outsider.
Yes, it's very important, Barry. You've got to always stick to what the agenda is because it can sometimes flow out of context, and you've got to bring it all back together.
And be on time for the meeting too, because if your meeting starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, please be here half an hour early. And another thing, always have somewhere set up to have your meeting. Here's my outsider.
Yes, as Barry is saying, it's extremely important to have somewhere to set up the meeting that's comfortable for all and also to be on time as well.
Because like I've just mentioned, guys, being on time for the meeting, like if the meeting starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, you need to be here at 7:30 in the morning to prepare for the meeting and make sure that every staff member has a copy of the minutes from the previous meeting. Here's my outsider.
Yes, that was a very important topic, Barry, as well. All staff have the minute meetings from the previous meeting and also the topics about what the agendas are going to be prior to the meeting.
And always have a compromise at the staff meeting. Here's my outsider.
Yes, as Barry's saying, always have a compromise as well, and also allow staff to vent and speak about the topic with free speech.
And please do not bring your personal issues to a staff meeting. There is a time and place to discuss your personal issues after the meeting. Here's my offsider.
Yes, as Barry was saying, it's extremely important as well. Don't bring your personal meetings to work or the meeting. There is a time and a place where you can have these private discussions if need be.
Because there is a time and place, guys, and also I forgot to mention, please ask for a copy of the minutes before you do go home. Here's my offsider.
Yes, as Barry said, it's very important to also have that documentation about what has been spoken in the meeting prior to you going home.
And if you are unable to attend the staff meeting, please let management know as soon as possible. Here's my offsider.
Yes, as Barry was saying, it's very important that you do attend, but if you are unable to attend, please let management know as soon as you can, not try and do it on the day.
And also set a date and time and venue for your next meeting. Here's my offsider.
It's very important, as Barry was saying, to set a time, date and venue for the next meeting prior to finalising the meeting before.
And another thing, guys, please be considerate of other people's opinions, because people may have a different point of view to the topic that the staff may be talking about. Here's my offsider.
Yes, it's very important too, Barry. Well done. People might have different views on the topic that is being discussed, and let them speak freely and not be judged.
Don't criticise anyone at the meeting, please. If you're not happy about something that was discussed, like I just said a moment ago, please please discuss this prior with the manager after the meeting. And the last topic on the staff meeting is wait for your turn to speak, and here's my offsider.
Yes, as Barry is saying, it's very important that you let everyone speak in turn and not over the top of each other, and it's always important to have your say as well when you get the chance.
And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's not all about you, it's about everyone here as a team. Please work as a team at the staff meeting, and here's my offside.
As Barry is saying, it's extremely important to do that, work as a team, and enjoy the staff meeting too. Everyone can get together as well.
And if you would like to bring food or drink to the meeting, that is okay too, because sometimes there may be food or cups of tea or coffee at the meeting. Here's my offside.
Yes, as Barry is saying, if you'd like to bring food to the meeting, it's always usually welcomed. Just make sure that no one has any allergies to the food that they bring as well.
And like I said, make sure that you are prepared. And I nearly forgot one thing. Always have your phone off at the meeting. Here's my offside.
Yes, as Barry was saying, very important to pay your full attention to the meeting, so please have your phone switched off unless it's a very important call and you have to take it.
And do not leave your meeting unless it's an emergency. Here's my offsider.
Yes, it's very true, Barry. Do not leave your meeting unless it's an emergency, because it's very important for you to attend the whole meeting, the entirety of the meeting, to hear about all the topics and agendas that are being discussed.
Because there may be some news that the manager may want to share with all of you, and that may include the clients as well. Here's my offsider.
Yes, as Barry said, it's very true. It may include all the clients as well, about their personal details.
And please do not raise your voice at the meeting because it could be off-putting and you could be asked to leave the meeting. Here's my offsider.
Yes, as Barry was saying, please don't leave the meeting. It could be off-putting, and always ask the manager first.
And we hope that and always listen to what others have to say. Here's my offsider.
Yes, as Barry was saying, always listen to what others have to say, and I think that's a lot of good details about how to join a meeting.
And how not to run a staff meeting is coming up, so that's segment 1. Segment 2 coming right up.